Hello, everyone. Nonsense in the room. Sorry about that. Matt, yes, we will be covering some things in Unreal. So I'm going to be working with Blender and then transferring to Unreal for the process. So I'll be going over quite a bit of the process that I learned for it. There's a few new things I'm going to be doing too with some of the shaders. But yeah, mainly today I'll be doing the block out for the environment and starting to get the block out for one of the trim sheets I know we're going to make. Then a few of the textures I already have available from GameTextures, which I'm going to be using for a bit. And I also have a bit more reference. This was the specific reference I had started from. This is what I'm using the kind of reference to figure out for trim sheets and whatnot. Then I'm going to want some of the yellow bumping trim sheet there and the draining of Pinterest spray when you go over it. And also the anti kind of slip strips there can also go on it. So usually for that what I'll do is actually like model it out first, and then I'll put those polygons onto a square plane to figure out, then map the trims, then I'll pass that on to Matt. I think we're going to be kind of working in conjunction here of me working on the environment and passing things off to Matt to make a few textures for the environment too. A subway trim sheet would be really cool to use, and maybe some other extra drains and whatnot. And actually, yeah, I have this subway inside my sci-fi. I have a sci-fi board on Pinterest for lots of cool stuff. So originally when I found the design for the flooded subway, I thought it would be neat to have like a sci-fi door in it and stuff. Like, kind of like a sci-fi twist onto modern subway. I'm going to go ahead and go over to Blender and start blocking things out. I already have it open, yes I do. Yeah, I might be using parallax on a few things on around. I usually use parallax on tiles, things like that. And give me just a second, my cat's destroying something. Sorry about that, had to banish my cat from ripping paper. Alright, so usually what I like to do is get some sort of T-pose model into my modeling program so I can better see the size of things. So I just scale him down, keeping a look on the dimensions here to see when y gets to about 177 centimeters. So I go for something in between, kind of like an average height. 5 feet is 60 inches, which goes to 152 centimeters. And also I know that all the planes inside Blender by default are going to be 2 meters by 2 meters by default. So I'm going to pull back up my reference here and start building out some of the basic shapes and then make the modules. I have my reference up, don't I? Somewhere. Move this over to another window though. Onto another monitor. I'm probably going to make kind of just a broad block out shape first for how big the walls should be. Here's they're about 3 meters tall before the inlay up there. Be quite truly perfect. You can also usually Google things like how high up handrails usually are or how tall a door frame is. I always Google it because we're actually very bad at kind of guessing how big something is. Floors are going left and right. The walls are about that big. The walls to me feel, the floor feels to me a bit closer to 5 meters across. 5 meters right there. This 4 foot across. 5 meters, a bit more to how I want it. And we'll be able to change this all up very easily once we're inside Unreal with modules and textures. Just need to kind of find a better size for each individual module. I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and move him over real quick. Make a few of the cuts to figure out the sizes for the trim sheets. So we're figuring out the scale of the trim sheets. I have a reference image inside of Substance Designer I use. What I like to do is put like a 2 meter by 2 meter plane below a standing character, and then I can just make cuts into the plane, and that can better let me see how big something like these floor element trims are. You can get a good idea of how big those are when standing on them if you're unable to find the exact sizes of these parts online. I'll probably start with the kind of anti-slip matte parts. It changes the noise we show on the wire for Oh yeah, getting a key press indicator would be good to get. I'll be mentioning some of the key binds. Now, by next stream I can get one of those key press indicators up. That could help off the cameras. I am using the new Blender 2.8 release. And yes, we'll also be going over, and not this specifically, basically this stream, these streams are going to be doing for this environment are going to be over the course of several weeks. So I'll be streaming a few hours each Wednesday, making it. And maybe on the Fridays when Matt streams, he'll stream the texture creation process. So I'm going to be building the entire environment from scratch on these streams to be able to see clearly everything. It just may not be like in the quick kind of tutorial fashion since I'm doing it live. I'll kind of be fiddling around at times or trying to figure out issues I run into, whereas with pre-recorded tutorials I usually figure all that off camera. I can be a bit faster when explaining it. I think I have the main sizes I want for the parts on the trim sheets. I might make just the very base template of it myself, just to be mapping and being able to easily see things in here. I do know I may want this specific type of drywall up there, so I don't think we have that. We haven't really discussed too much on how we were planning to be going back and forth, but I do know Matt was probably going to make some of the materials for this. Alright, anyway, what I'm going to do first, I think, to make the mapping easier is color code these. I know I want this first one to be like the anti-slip matte. I want to see if I can convert text note. I used to do these in the forms of textures. This could be a little bit easier to map. Basically, this is all going to be placeholder. So you model out your environment before you kind of have the textures, but go ahead and have have an idea of how the models are going to be fitting to the textures, and then you have them all instanced. And that way later when you get the texture, it's just a matter of UV mapping it and it will update all the instances. That way the environment artist can be working on the environment before the textures are done. They don't have to sit and wait for those to get done. I'll show the reference here again so you can kind of get an idea. The black anti-slip mat is the one I'm doing here on the stairs, and there's the yellow bumping and these yellow slip vents. And also I'm not too sure what the little kind of rubber beveling is called that you see on the base of walls. Probably rename it later once I figure out what in the world it's called. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the little gray, those kind of like rubbery flaps you see on the bottom of things. 100% sure what they're called. I'm sure if I did enough research, I'll eventually find what it's called. Tactile paving. Thank you. I know what that's called. I think what we'll probably do is convert these to polygons. Or actually, I'll just probably convert them to polygons for working with them. You know, the first ones I'm going to want to work with is the drains paving here. And if I ever need to update them, I can use them. Let's see if I can remember how to convert these. Fuel to object and convert it to mesh. Those are all meshes now. I don't quite know what I'm going to be putting up here just yet. Bothers me even though it doesn't really matter. Feel free to have it on the background. I'm not going to be doing too much talking. It's a slow beginning. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff Walk, I had missed your question up there on the process of the trim sheet. Yeah, I'm mapping out the trim sheet naming right now. This allows me to go ahead and model as if I have the trim sheet, even though I don't have the trim sheet texture just yet. But I know that the texture will be mapped inside these defined spaces, which I'll be able to render out and pass on. So I don't quite know what will be at the very top of the trim sheet just yet. I'll also transfer the anti-slip. That's enough. So since I know this is going to basically be like a 2 meter by 2 meter floor section, I can then duplicate it now. And then plug into where kind of an anti-slip mat would go, where the slits would go at least. Let's grab slit drain. I'm going to go and assign the material. Now I want these UVs to be area. Right there. Separated. I think there's a way to get it to show the actual material color. And it does it for the overall object, so I have to actually go. I don't know. I want to see. All right. I know how I want to be working with. So basically this will be another module here, but this time it has the drain trim on it, which may end up being something I might have just float very slightly above the surface. I know that the UVs for this all now add up perfectly, so when we actually plug in the trim sheet texture, it'll just map to here automatically. It'll be very convenient. Look more at the environment. I think I may end up making some trim sheet stream. I'm also going to need some railing. I might go ahead and put the anti-slip mat material on the walls here. The models for it. Also going to need floor drain. We're going to be doing this section. Just a second. My water bottle. I'm back to my water. All right. This will be my stair step exporting soon. I'll be exporting quite a bit of these soon. I start the block out process. I need to figure out how I'm going to do the modules for the diagonal pieces too. I'm not sure if any of our foliage materials are like available for free. There might be some on the freebies. But we do have a lot of foliage materials on our site. Mike would know more if we have like any even the free pack or not. Mike is the one that's been commenting inside the chat there. GameTextures chat. Now you know his identity. Sure why I've been having an issue where adjusting things like vertices or anything inside rooms can lag at times, or what triggers it. We're just listening to a playlist on YouTube. I can link the playlist here. Chat. It's basically just an audio library on YouTube that won't get the video taken down, basically. The first stream I actually streamed more popular stuff, thinking maybe it would just get demonetized because we aren't gonna have advertisements on the video anyway. But no, it got like fully taken down, sadly. So what I like to do for keeping all my meshes organized and keeping kind of a large jungle and library, I'll use my keyframes down here for basically placing animations frames based on how they're exported. You want to make sure that your meshes are located at the world origin and that their actual anchor points also at the origin when you export out. Oh, that might have been my Slack. I guess I'm picking up the Slack noises, aren't I? I can disable my notifications for everything real quick. Manage notifications. I guess I'll just turn everything. Well, I have Slack off. I guess I can turn it off on Slack itself, not confusing people. Find out where to do that though. Or I can just tell everyone to not at me anymore. No more ats. Oh, here I go, notification preferences. Okay. I think I have it disabled now, so it won't interrupt the stream. They are yelling at Or also just mention the music was a little bit quiet. Some of the songs in the playlist get very quiet. Yeah, that's right, your ads don't work anymore. I disabled you. Controls for this different? Oh no. Okay. Controls for the keyframe slider are different. You used to be able to just right click down here, but now it does that. Hit the left click up here. Or I might be thinking incorrectly. Pretty sure you could just right click. What I'm gonna do is insert a keyframe. Make sure all the transforms on this are applied. Insert keyframe for location right here. And on frame 2, I'll insert the location for over here. Show why I'm doing this in a second. Same thing for base plates. First going to, actually I'm going to go and insert the keyframe right here. 2, then back over here, and actually I need to go and do that. I need to move this to world origin. So now, when I'm working on it, I have one all laid out, I just move my keyframes to 1. When I want to export, when I'm working on it, I move it back to 2, and it will rearrange it all for me. A little bit more visible. Good enough. Don't want to combine multiple zeros on it, just think of a D. I put the origin at the corner. This So for this piece here, this will actually have a metal trimming going on this segment around here. The metal trimming right here, and then I'll probably use tiles for right here, make the most sense. Right. I need to make some healing module piece. These a little bit up too later on that have better beveling on them. I'm gonna take 4 here. 8 by 180. Be doing a little bit of something to be fixing the parts, you know, that doesn't matter that much in it. A little bit more once I get it in. Move these. Yeah, I just use Blender because I've used it for a long time and I know my way around it really well. I've also used a lot of Maya, and I've also used some 3ds Max and Houdini. I consider Houdini a very different program from all the other modeling programs out there. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and export these out. The different. Should have broken tile. Might have different tile. We'll probably have floor tiles instead. What's going on here? Oh, right. I need to set the keyframes for all these. So I move this up, back over. I have the keyframes already set, except for this one too. Now it's all good. I'll select my floor first. This to frame 1. I'll be adding some more polygons to this too for vertex painting later on. Be doing FBX. Probably put this into a folder. Or what I had named this before. I already have the preset built here, so I do this quite a bit. When exporting from Blender, if you're working inside the default Blender unit, you want to turn on just the selected object for what you're doing, then change it to just mesh, since I'm exporting it to mesh. And I also apply modifiers, and the other important part is to turn the smoothing to face. You want to have your custom normals exported, which I do, then everything else is just off. I mean, overall, this set's not going to have too many pieces. Name. Right. 200 by 200 underscore floor. Floor. Each unit inside Blender is by default already a meter. I work with centimeters since that's how Unreal default names everything is, 200 by 200 centimeters and so forth. So what is this? That was the ceiling piece. The ramps there. All right, all those pieces are out. Now I can go over to Unreal Engine and launch. Basically, once I have the blockout models exported and then imported to Unreal, once I go back into Blender and update it, add more polygons and refine it, and then add textures and decals and so forth, I can just export again to the exact same FBX file, and then I will just go back to Unreal and say re-import, and it will automatically update everything I have laid out already. Oh shit. It is. Okay. I should be able to drag these directly in. Now I'm just going to use the generated light UVs that I'll make. I already have it here. I want to import the normals. Things should be good. So no error, okay. No, I didn't want to import the materials just yet. For you. Sort of directional light. Rarely. Add dialogue. I'd be deleting these later as it's going to be indoors in the subway, so I really don't need anything just for previewing right now. Did I forget to import? Forgot to export. You. I'll just go over here and copy the name. I already have it. Paste it. Faster. Yeah, I just didn't export it for whatever reason. I'm just upset about the text geometry I have on there. So I don't care about that. On materials there for now. Beautiful. Just upset about the text snapping geometry I have on there. So I don't care about that. Materials there for now. Located. I'll be covering that up more anyway. probably be duplicating this and creating a prefab from it in the future. Why don't I go ahead and do that now? Static. I'll make sure you change it to static inside when you convert to blueprint so actually be able to fake the lighting. I can delete this. We're making several variation pieces for this. Not as repetitive. A bit too wide, so I need to change how I'm going to be doing the floor here. Make sure it's still tiles correct. And take this down. I could just have it all offset based on the shader, which is what I'll probably end up doing. That'll work best in the end. Close for now. This is fix that later on. Better option might have been to move these or to be separate modules. think I will do two versions of the material. So I'll do a world aligned version of it, and then another one that is not world aligned. So I use world alignment for the floors here, I think. Perhaps the walls. Just change how I'll be UVing it in the future. How this looking. Figure out how we're gonna be doing these corner where it turns. Just look there, it actually is something going down the center, so we can change that too. Yes, I will be making a water material later on. Probably not during this stream. I might get started on actually making the trim sheet texture during this stream, just because it's easier for me to kind of model and work with that. I think I'll also be downloading some of the textures I know I'm going to want from the site, and be setting up system inside SD if I want to convert them for my environment. Make some turning pieces here. Using a triplanar for that world line position will definitely be best for this. It actually solves a lot of issues. I like using those. Probably change to have a unique module for these corners too, just so I can have the edges beveled. That way we have a little piece here that connects it, and also have this corner not as sharp, it's beveled a little bit. I also add some destruction to it. Instead of having a 2-meter gap in the center, I'm going to have a half or a 1-meter gap in the center for here. Eventually convert this one down here to be that too. This light will be. Also need to figure out how I'm going to be doing the diagonal parts. May just convert the shader to just offset the UVs as I rotate it, and not actually be projecting. The angles will be more difficult with projections. It will kind of skew them, duplicating. Go back in the Blender and see what I have here. The anti-slip mat. Be figuring out how I want to do some thinner hallways. I also want to add that in at one point. This is the doorway that exits inside Unreal. Once. Oh. Inverted. That is easy to fix. You can flip the normal just by going to edit mode and hitting Shift N. That flips it all. Now I can just go back to File, Export FBX, and export the exact same FBX file. Then when I toggle back over to Unreal, I can just right click and click re-import. And now it's fixed. Here we go. I was to have a doorway right here. Around. We'll want to adjust these models some then. Let's go back into Blender, same amount I did in there. Good way to do this is to do Alt D. Now do a linked transformation duplication. I hit Alt D, so Shift D. Nice, move this by 10. Oh, not by 10, by 0.1. 0.4. Move this by 0.4. 40 centimeters. Do this by 40 centimeters. By 0.20. Then go into edit mode on just one of these and it'll affect both of them. I'm going to select here, go into vertex mode, and select here, then just slide this up to reach. I'll edit this a little bit more in the future to have it more exact and perfect. I can delete this one now and then re-export this. File, export. Already have it. When I go back to Unreal Engine, I just update it and it fixes itself. You can see it's been updated here too. Nice. We'll do a matte covering that later on, the transitions, not the size I want it to be, or I could just make it a little bit longer, make it reach. It's already reaching. Yeah, so that somehow got perfectly. Well, I was pretty sure it was going to be a little bit off. I didn't measure heavily inside Blender. How nice that things just magically work out. Both of these. This is what I want. Of course, I am going to be changing center working moment. So go ahead and download a few of the textures. There's one texture I know I want to go ahead and get from the site. Then I'm going to start mapping how I want the trim sheet to look. And that I'll be able to better map out and model things once I have the trim sheet. So I often have worked from making the trim sheet first and then making a lot of the models based on the trim sheet. Blend like this one. I'm gonna download this one and see what different. Dare you ask me to get started? Why aren't I logged in? Broken tiles, subway trim sheet. One more trim sheet. And that may for all the metal parts in the environment. Or we find the names of those. But I'm going to be doing something a little bit special with how I'm going to be mapping these. There's a lot of different ways you can map out your materials to Unreal Engine. And a most standard way, or the standard way we have for download is Mr. AO, which is where you get your albedo map, and then the metallic or roughness and inclusion map is on one texture, and then you have your normal texture. And so you have all favorite textures there. I like to try something new though. I haven't quite done before for this environment. Let me get into Substance Designer. I'm gonna map that. I think for this one, I'm going to take it down to just a total of 2 textures for every material. So I'll have an albedo, and then I'll have my normal map, and I think I'm gonna replace the blue channel with my roughness, then recalculate the blue channel using the shader system inside of Unreal. Unreal has a node for calculating the blue channel for you. Make sure I'm lining this up correctly. And then I'll have my normal map, and I think I'm gonna replace the blue channel with my roughness, then recalculate the blue channel using the shader system inside. I'm gonna do metallic roughness, but I'm gonna have different outputs for it. Probably also want to hide. So what I'm going to be doing is changing the broken tile mount slider on this material to be 0 at one point, so I get just clean tiles, and then I'll also be exporting again with 4 tiles. I'm going to create some new outputs here. I want to plug the normal map here into the separate RGBA, or into the RGBA split. Looking at a few of the other textures here. Oh, there we go. These are the square tiles I was looking for before I couldn't find. I'm actually going to download a different material. I was looking for this one, but didn't see it on there, so I knew we had it. Here's the tiles I want. I'm going to replace this one with a new one I just got. Get the download. this plugged into here. Then change, make a second normal map. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna have a separate normal map view. This which one will actually go into the output. It was have it down here. Well, I'm looking at another one. I was just linking. I'm just gonna have to feed it into regular normal map, so I don't want to have to name it differently. RGBA merge. Then the blue channel, I'm going to be feeding in my roughness. So you do need your blue channel for normal maps, but I've learned you can just recalculate the blue channel itself inside of Unreal. Now I need to put in a solid color here. As you can see, it looks very weird now. But that's fine. It's going to break it over here. I don't care about that. As you can see, it looks very weird now. But that's fine. It's going to break it over here. I don't care about that. Go ahead and export these out for here. I'm also going to export out the normals twice. I'm going to export out a version of this that I'll be able to view inside of... Actually, I am going to put this back over here and then call this one normal roughness. Normal underscore R. Normal roughness version, and this one must be the normal version. Put this into a frame. This has everything I need for a full material. It has the base color, it has the normal, which the blue channel need to be recalculated inside the shader, and it has the roughness. This has everything I need for a full material. It has the base color, it has the normal, which the blue channel will be recalculated inside the shader, and it has the roughness. One second. where did this go? I'm gonna refine a link here. I just can't. 1 second. Have to find it later. Now I want to get these exported for waste. I'm on the stream. I'm going to export the. Also change the group. Let's call this custom. Let's work those two. I'm going to do another copy of this that's not. On this. This should just be normal. This should underscore R. Turn all of this off. That's why I'll be using the kind of preview the material inside of Blender, but I have a duplicate that's using the other version. That's why I'll be using the kind of preview the material inside of Blender, but I have a duplicate that's using the other version. Find the reference shader, the name of it again, just node graph for it. I'm going to go ahead and plug these directly into Unreal Engine. See if they look. Step a little bit of the shader. Materials and material instance. I'm gonna create a new material here, but just call it test for now. I want to test this piece. Then let's go find the textures I just exported. My custom textures here. The base color and the normal with the roughness and the blue channel. I want to create a new material here, but just call it test for now. I want to test this piece. Then let's go find the textures I just remember I had found what the actual node was called for deriving it. Sure where that is. Over here. What the actual node was called for deriving it. Sure where that is. I'm not sure where it is. We'll find it. Find it eventually. I'll spend quite a bit of. I'll probably spend more time. I don't know. It's hard to say. Right now, I've been kind of going a bit slow because I've been going back and forth looking at different files and in the Slack chat. Yeah, it'd be kind of hard for me to pinpoint. I'll be on this. I'll be spending more time inside Unreal Engine than I will be my modeling package because it's not a crazy amount of modeling to do. Once I have my trim sheet made, I'll be able to more easily create all these assets. And once that's made, I'll need to make a few of the railing assets and stairs and also lights up here. But everything, all the assets in this are just going to be using trim sheets and tiles. So I'll just be able to model everything out and apply the textures and then drop it in. I won't have to do a crazy amount of work there. I'll need to go flood subway to my materials, open up test. Of course, it's going to be super tiny for whatever reason. All the assets in this are just going to be using trim sheets and tiles. So I'll just be able to model everything out and apply the why it makes and then drop it in. I won't have to do a crazy amount of work. I can need like 5 more monitors. Not enough. Just open this. It's going to be super tiny for whatever reason. Thank you. Probably convert this to a function later on. Let's drag these in, and I think this will need to be marked as a normal map. Just open this. On. Thank you. Probably convert this to a function later on. Let's drag these in, and I think this will need to be marked as a normal map. This to sampler. Let's figure out how in the world we're supposed to calculate. I think the node is called derive z from normal. Derive normal z function. So I want to append vector together x, y, that goes into a little bigger to see what we're getting. Should be able to calculate the blue channel for normal map since we removed that. I actually need to plug it in to be able to see what it's doing. Plug it in. No idea where to calculate the blue channel for normal map since we removed that. Also going to take our blue channel and plug that into roughness. I may need to duplicate this input to linear color probably. Find out a little bit, I guess. I think there's actually more information going across it. What happens when I plug in the blue channel to roughness? Actually duplicate this input to linear color probably. All solid white. Duplicate this make alt normalization vector. I'm guessing that's looking for this value will be used. Length is 0. The vector shouldn't be 0. Go ahead and duplicate this texture sample. Set to linear color. Set to grayscale. Appending out the rough. That actually may not work. Go ahead and duplicate this texture sample. Set to. Or get upset about it. Yes, it is. Set to grayscale. Appending out the rough. That actually may not work. Yeah, so it doesn't need to be super normal. I do think it is coming out correctly. I may be wrong though, and I'll figure that out later. Never actually done this workflow with replacing the blue channel to normal, but I've always wanted to try it out. Save. Drag in our test material. I do think it is coming out correctly. I may be wrong though, and I'll figure that out later. And I plug it in. Never actually done this workflow with replacing the blue channel to normal, but I've always wanted to try it out. I'm missing their material. Oh, I didn't put material slots onto these. Change. Doing not to use game. Awful. I can go test to see if it's actually doing what I want it to be doing. Right. That down. Change the skylight way down. For it to be not to use game. Light. I can go test to see if it's actually doing what I want it to be doing. Grab in a static light. Direct it down. Change the skylight way down. Should all be the same roughness. Getting some normal detail in it. I may not be quite correct. I'm doing the normal on it correct. Should all be the same roughness. Getting some normal detail in it. I may not be. This look like we are getting actually normal interaction on it. I don't think the blue channel is working properly on it. Should be quite a bit stronger than that. We are getting actually normal interaction on it. I don't think the blue channel is working properly on it. Should be. Let's make it slicker and see how it looks. Constant, plug it in, just make it very shiny. Then we can better see it. I'll be looking up after the stream more info on it, so be doing it correctly. Constant, plug it in, just make it very shiny. Then we can better see it. I'll be looking up after the stream. I'll probably want to readjust the shader afterwards to make sure these are working correctly. Now I can, and actually to update all of these, I can just click on it, and I'll be changing this to where it's going to blend between a broken version and not broken version too. on another stream. Find all the models and plug this in. After I plug these in, I'm going back to learn, checking a few more things. I'm probably done streaming for today. Plug into the module, updates all of them for you. I want to be renaming this material later on. Get floor drain. This is the top slot. Then the trim sheets will go there, and I'll be blending between broken and not broken. Actually, it does look like odd due to the due to how I'm working with the normals. I should be able to fix the normals later on. If not, I'll just go back to doing the old method. I can't figure out how to get to work quite in Unreal Engine. So I have an idea now of what I need for the trim sheets here, and that they're all mapped out onto these segments. Got them there, and now I know that I'm probably going to want a metal trim. We're going around here and also here, and little screws on this metal trim for putting screw details on this piece. I may also put the piping details on that. We'll also need to figure out how we're going to be making this work to where it can turn. Currently, means I might want to move the pivots to be on the corners here rather than directly in the center. That way, if I change this up, currently I can't position this right here and then rotate it, say 45 degrees. I have to put it here, then rotate it 45 degrees. So I can't even do that right now. This just be harder to line up if I don't have the pivots on the edges. Probably how I'm going to need to move these right here and then rotate it. So you can position it like that, and that works. I'll need to figure out what modules I need to put here on the corners or change off how I'm going to be mapping those two. Then I'll be able to have that on the edges. This does work. I don't like how it works. I'll need to figure out what modules I need to put here on the corners or change off how I'm going to be. These are going to intersect. That's another piece I need to work on. That also will influence how much time I'll spend inside Blender, is getting an idea for how all the modules are going to be hooking up. Things don't look like much right now, but things usually don't look like much until quite a bit later on, once I start playing with the lighting a little bit. To do a little bit of the blockout phase. Those are going to be intersecting, which we do not want. But we'll want to figure out, we might just create one large corner piece module to make the turns, and same thing for a turn like this. So we basically these two joined together. What we'll want to do for the floors here too. Currently, if I were to take this and it, that's why we're going to want to do world alignment on this also. I want to do world alignment. Figure out what I'm doing with the normal. I want to create a unique corner piece for this here, but still be using world alignment maybe. Let me check the. Yeah, because we could make it to where the tiles do turn as this turns, but it doesn't do that in the reference. In the reference, it stays going the same way even when there's a turn and so forth. So we can create some unique elements for that. Yeah, I've got to start on the block out to this now, and things will go quite a bit faster on the next stream. The beginning is just a very slow process. A bit distracted. I think done with the streaming for now. Matt may be working on a few of the materials for this environment, like for the wall plaster, and may make a different version of the broken tiles on this to get something more unique. Or we can try a few different things. First, I'm kind of interested in making the trim sheet for this on stream. The next stream, I may actually be doing the trim sheet for this, but we'll find out and be announcing on our Twitter what we'll be doing for that. Let me check with Mike to see if he has anything else to say or add. I don't think he may have stepped away from his computer. We'll find out and be announcing on what we'll be doing for that. With Mike to see if he has anything else to say or add. Get to him or not. I don't think he may have stepped away from his computer. Where'd Blender go? I want to update these pivots, I think. Like them this year. Don't know what I'll be doing up here just yet. I want to update these pivots, I think. Okay, that's the rubber wall cover. Oh, I could go ahead and add this to up here just yet. Hello? Yeah. Here we are. This piece will kind of go at the bases here. Could go ahead and add this. Hello? Mike says he has nothing to add and doesn't want to talk to you guys. Can't say that. This piece will kind of go at the bases here. Oh no, he says thank. Yeah, we'll start off here. I may be doing either the trim sheet for this next time, and Matt may be working on the some of the other tiling materials for the environment, like on the ceilings and pipes. So stay tuned for the Twitter announcements on that. Find out what we'll be streaming. I'm going to. We'll start off here. I may be doing sign off. See ya. Thanks for stopping by.